the support of labor to build confidence in the economy and reignite the growth. At a meeting with business in February this year, I asked the Finance Minister, Mr. Pravin Gordhan, as well as the chairman of Telkom and Business Unit South Africa President, Mr. Jabu Mabuza, to lead the initiative. We met again in May this year to receive a feedback. The intended outcome is to build confidence in the economy and reignite growth, ensuring that it is also inclusive and to help the country avert a downgrade in the country's sovereign credit rating. The meeting was attended by CEOs of major companies, representatives of Black Business Council, Business Unit South Africa, COSATU, FEDUSA, and NACTU. The Presidential CEO Initiative works through 4 work streams led by Minister Gordhan and Mr. Mabuza, which presented reports. These are the following: an investment work stream, a small enterprise development work stream, a youth employment work stream, a work stream addressing issues related to the country's sovereign credit rating. The progress thus far includes, among others, the following: a youth employment program that will aim to place 1 million youth in paid internships in the private sector over a 3-year period, with the cost to be borne by the private sector and supported by a negotiated package of government initiatives, of government incentives, consultative processes among relevant stakeholders in government, labor, business, and civil society will begin as soon as possible, and further details will be announced in this regard. A South Africa SME fund that make equity investments in small enterprises with growth potential has been established. The fund has been established, a board of directors appointed, and thus far the private sector has contributed almost 1.5 billion rand. The presidential CEO initiatives will address the proposal raised by the Black Business Council for Black fund managers to be involved in the management of the fund. In line with the government's 9-point plan, work has been done to analyze 8 economic sectors and identify areas for new investment and growth. The following areas have been prioritized for further work and project development. In particular, business is working to partner with government through the establishment of an agricultural growth fund, offer capacity to support South Africa's tourism marketing work with government to increase the numbers of nurses trained, and work to revitalize declining industrial areas and especially address the Fall Triangle. With regard to a potential ratings downgrade, the private sector, together with labor and government, has met with investors and the ratings agencies in a Team South Africa initiative that has built confidence and ensured a positive outcome to the June ratings review. This partnership sees its work as initiating activities that are intended to foster inclusive growth through joint activities by all social partners. This will be ongoing work involving business, labor, and government. We are encouraged by the work done thus far. It is encouraging that we are working together in this manner as business, government, and labor. It is an important partnership which augurs well for the economy of our country and the well-being of our people. We urge all sectors of society to actively support this initiative and ensure that together we focus on initiatives that will boost confidence in our country and in the economy, and which will boost economic growth and job creation. The meeting appeals to all in the country to refrain from public utterances that promote a negative narrative about the country, which undermine confidence in the country and jeopardize job creation and inclusive growth. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. We'll take 4 questions. And then after that, those questions will be answered. We'll start with you, Nicholas. We'll just take all of them at one go.
Morning, Mr. President. Morning, Finance Minister, Business. Was stability within the government discussed during this meeting, Mr. President? Specifically the ongoing standoff between the Finance Minister and the Hawks, and the conflicting statements that were made by Mineral Resources Minister Mosebenzi Zwane. If so, what was the conclusion of those discussions regarding stability within government in order to meet our economic challenges?
We know that I think in the next few months, the ratings agencies will be coming to assess the situation. Other than what the President has said, working together, which yielded positive results in June. So are there any extra measures to make sure that you work towards making sure that it doesn't get downgraded this time around?
Good afternoon. My question is, the XOEs were mentioned by ratings agencies as a part of a concern as well as political uncertainty in the country. Those 2 factors, were those
from the SABC. From the business sector, in terms of the progress that has been registered, we see that there's been some progress in the on the fund issue. Are you happy with the progress that has been made amid calls by other business executives that making political statements about the state of our president? So are you happy with regard to the role that the business has played so far? Thanks.
Mr.
Miningi lembuzo yakho. Uzokhumbula bengabhali. Uzongitshena. But of course, the bulk of the questions would be answered by the A team sitting here. The issue that was raised, whether this meeting discusses standoff between the Hawks and the Minister of Finance, no, that was not discussed. I don't think that was an item on the agenda for this meeting. But there was an indication in relation to what I said at the end, that the manner in which the narrative has been going negative in the country, we should all not continue with that, to allow the efforts that we are doing to succeed. Because the more we say things, in whatever sector, whether in government, whether political or business leaders, it's not helping. And that's an appeal that this meeting has made. So, in any way, Marsh has been aware of that. We are then saying, because there are a few things that have been happening in the country, we are referring to all of that, including what was mentioned by one questioner. I think ours is to see us working together. The very fact that we are together here indicates the continuity of the work we are doing, that we are going to continue with the posture that we have presented to the world, where the leadership from business and government go together to address the issues and indeed indicate where the country is going. So we are together, and we are saying all South Africans should be part of the Team South Africa. I will leave other questions to my colleagues.
I think as the President has said, we really think in our economic reform packages and all the things we're trying to do, there are things that in their nature would take a long time, like the structure of our economy. There are things that we can do something about now, like some of the policies, some of the regulations. Indeed, the work we're doing of the investments in certain identified projects, the SMME fund, amongst others, are those things we can do now, early gains that we can get. But all these, in one sense, they are to create confidence in our economy. So it is important that us as business leaders need to govern ourselves, need to mind our language, need to be careful and be conscious of the things we say and ask ourselves, as a business leader, is this that I'm saying going to give confidence to investors? We also asked the President, and he has spoken to, there are those utterances that come from the political side. We're asking the President, and we undertake from our side that we will govern our people and ask everybody to please check your language. And if there's a differences, let's close the door and differ inside the house. But to go and make statements outside that are not helping in building the confidence is really undermining the work we're trying to do, like we need this headwind.
Capture. On the two questions related to ratings and roadshows and so on. I think the test for us as a country and this partnership that the President has presented, arising from the work that we did in the first 6 months, is firstly, are we keeping to the commitments that we've made to ourselves and to our country, let alone ratings agencies, about the fact that we will attend to certain growth areas in the economy, we will remove certain obstacles, we will get business and labor to work together with ourselves in certain very concrete areas which have been spelled out, like the Small Business Fund, the work that Labour is doing with the Deputy President on the minimum wage and other issues in the NETLAC process as well. So the test when we meet the rating agencies, which starts, by the way, this week, the coming week, on the 21st and 22nd, Moody's is in South Africa. In early November, S&P will be in South Africa, and early December, Fitch will be in South Africa. So that's the timelines that we're talking about. And we feel confident that the work that we've been doing together will provide sufficient evidence that A, we were serious about the commitments that we made to improve prospects for growth, stabilize our financial situation, ensure that government keeps to its undertaking to continue with fiscal consolidation, although it's going to be very tough in a low growth environment where you normally lose revenue as well. But secondly, the ratings agencies and others want to see proof that we've taken a few steps in the direction that we've indicated we will actually take. And I think the President has outlined some of those areas. In the meeting itself, there were a lot more details that were given in each of the areas. Now, if you can get a fund going for small and medium-sized businesses in the space of a few months from the private sector and get committed money, not just promises, but committed money of 1.5 billion rands, that's a formidable achievement and a tremendous act of solidarity from the top 40 companies in South Africa, and some 70 to 80% of them have both committed and contributed to this fund. Similarly, the idea or the project around youth employment that the President talked about, if we begin to pull it off from early next year, after we do the planning work this year, it'll be a promise that we are bringing to bear for our young people, that we can give them work opportunities and exposure and training and place them on a better footing as we go forward. On the question of SOEs, there is, as you will know, both now a council for SOEs and an IMC on SOEs. The IMC is chaired by the Deputy President, the council by the President, and we share the concerns that we want to stabilize the financial situation in each of our SOEs. We will be able to give some evidence that we are heading in that direction. And there's a meeting that the Deputy President will be calling in the next few days, where we will take that process further as well. So again, that's in line with saying, having undertaken that we will stabilize the situation in many different parts of the economy, now the time is for us as Team South Africa, as the President said, to provide the evidence that we're beginning to move in the right direction and inspire confidence amongst the public as well.
The minister said I must not talk before him because they will say business have captured the government, and we haven't. Yeah, Jabu is right. The bigger picture, business and government, we should stop talking down our country without scientific proof. And what happened in the meeting, we've got a plan that was presented by both Jabu and the Minister of Finance for our country. Our focus was on economy and unemployment. And from the last meeting that we met, they've done a really good plan for long-term solution with these challenges that are here. And I must emphasize that some of the relation BBC was represented by some of my executive. But on top of that, I mean, we are doing it for the good of the country. Yes, Moody's will come, but then when a business jointly and the government want to change the plight of the people, that's very, very more important than Moody's. We don't want a downgrade. But also on the positive side, I mean, I can tell you safely that we have created black industrialists as black business. So if Moody's come here, we are actually exporting to America, pantographs. We're exporting to Europe. We've got some black industrialists from the time that the president announced the program of black industrialists. We didn't wait for all the projects to go on as business. We moved fast. And I can mention a couple of industrialists that are managed by black people that we should showcase in our country, because there are a lot of good that we do, but these goods are not in the public platform. Thank you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to an end of this media briefing. Thank you very much, Mr. President, Minister.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, friends.
Okay, thank you. We'll have the statement by the President. We'll just issue it so that you guys can have a